Probably. I remember we were in New York, and John Paul Jones had a good screen on me, and I actually popped my eardrum, ruptured my eardrum just on a screen.
Whispers became headlines, headlines became frenzy, and now the frenzy meets its source. Moments ago, Caitlin Clark emerged from a week-long digital blackout and dropped a bombshell, addressing the reported $100 million European megadeal that threatened to pull the WNBA's brightest star across the Atlantic. Cameras flashed, notifications exploded, and teammates froze as her live statement rolled. Is this the moment that reshapes women's basketball forever, or a masterclass in leverage none of us saw coming? Stay tuned for what she says next, right now. The post that changed everything. Caitlin Clark breaks her silence. Caitlin Clark didn't just arrive in the WNBA, she erupted into it. 1 minute she was breaking college records with Iowa, the next, she was the face of the Indiana Fever, drafted mere days after wrapping up her unforgettable NCAA career. There was no rest, no pause, no easing into it. And still, she didn't just survive, she soared. It all came to a head a few days ago when she finally broke her silence with a heartfelt Instagram post that sent ripples through the basketball world. It was a message full of gratitude and wonder, reflecting on a year that had turned her life and the league upside down. For fans, it was an emotional moment. For analysts and insiders, it was a turning point. Something deeper was happening, something no rookie had managed before. A total shift in how women's basketball was perceived, played, and celebrated. What made Clark's journey so jaw-dropping wasn't just her WNBA season. It was the lightning-fast transition from her legendary final year at Iowa straight into the professional league. There was no time to catch her breath. 1 minute she was being mobbed on campus. The next she was shaking hands with Indiana Fever staff at the draft. That same March, as the NBA Combine buzzed in Indiana, the real conversation was about her. Caitlin Clark's coming here. The excitement wasn't just media hype, it was a prophecy. Once in the WNBA, her presence was felt immediately. Defenders doubled her from the start. Even in her 4th game, she was already facing off against some of the league's toughest veterans. But her adaptability stood out. She wasn't just adjusting to the speed and athleticism, she was matching it. Early games showed moments of hesitation, too much dribbling, and not enough movement. But that changed quickly. Suddenly, she was flowing with her teammates, getting clean looks off the move and learning to play faster, smarter. In one of her most efficient nights, turnovers were down, her timing was sharp, and the Fever began to look more like a team than just a work in progress. People noticed. Broadcasters started dedicating full montages to her. During one nationally televised game, ESPN aired a highlight reel that showcased her entire year, from college records to professional milestones. They included the moment she passed Pistol Pete Maravich, officially becoming the NCAA's all-time leading scorer across both men's and women's basketball. That montage wasn't just a celebration, it was a statement. Her Instagram post, though simple, felt like a time capsule of emotions. "I'm filled with gratitude as I reflect on the past year of my life," she wrote. "See you all in year 2. In those few words, she confirmed what fans had been desperate to hear after Indiana's playoff exit. She wasn't going anywhere. Her journey was only beginning. But what made this season historic? Not just the points, not just the passes, not even the 62 records she shattered. It was the spirit she brought, the spark, the emotion in her voice as she spoke at her first official press conference, calling it a dream come true. The crowd, the cameras, the legacy of Tamika Catchings watching from the front row, it was all there. And Caitlin Clark didn't flinch. She thanked her parents, teased her little brother for missing his flight to her draft night, and spoke about how Indiana just felt like home. She mentioned the Pacers, the fans, and the Fever organization, noting how they do things the right way. That mix of humility and confidence, that's what pulled everyone in. And when asked if she had ever considered staying in college, she admitted she always had her eyes on the pros. But Indiana being close to Iowa and having the #1 pick made it feel inevitable. like fate. And when that draft night finally came, she knew it was the right step. Her story isn't just about stats or trophies. It's about a player who embraced pressure, carried the expectations of a new generation, and redefined what it means to be a rookie in women's sports. Caitlin Clark didn't just play basketball this season. She rewrote its possibilities. Now let's examine the figure she posted that left statisticians and analysts frantically trying to find the best way to describe it. Could one number carry so much weight? Caitlin Clark, the rookie who set the league on fire. When Caitlin Clark slipped on the scarlet and navy of the Indiana Fever, the WNBA gained more than a new face. It gained a storm with a smile. Night after night, she poured in 19 points, yet scoring was only the headline. Averaging 8 assists, 6 rebounds, and a steal, she became the rare rookie who could steer traffic and still break the tape. Her 337 passes rewrote the season record, proof that a great point guard treats baskets as gifts to be shared. One evening, she sliced up a defense for 19 helpers, turning the hardwood into her private chessboard. 2 triple-doubles soon followed, marks no first year had ever owned, announcing that her vision stretched from baseline to baseline. The numbers, though, tell just half the tale. The Fever, stuck in years of heartbreak, suddenly hummed with new life. Tickets vanished, jerseys flew off shelves, and national broadcasts pushed Indiana into prime slots. Oddsmakers noticed. BetMGM became the lone house still posting Rookie of the Year odds, hanging a staggering 10,000 tag beside Clark's name, as if admitting the race was over. Then came the deep bombardment. With her 86th triple, Clark passed Ryan Howard's rookie mark. Fans began fresh math. Sabrina Ionescu's all-time record sits at 128. 9 regular season dates remain. Average a touch above 4 threes a night, especially if the Fever's run bleeds into playoffs, and history could fall again. Guided by her steady hand, the team reached 20 wins, its first .500 finish since 2015, and punched its first postseason ticket in 8 long seasons. Hope bloomed among faithful supporters who had forgotten how winning felt. Still, studio panels buzzed, "What about Angel Reese?" The Chicago forward was inhaling rebounds at a pace that shattered both WNBA and NBA comparisons. Yet when the full picture appeared, points, passes, leadership, magnetism, Clark's canvas seemed larger, brighter, harder to ignore. Her second triple-double, a crisp 24-10-10 against the Los Angeles Sparks, showed why. Indiana fumbled 11 turnovers by halftime, but Clark's calm kept panic out of the huddle. Down the stretch, they flipped the script, forcing more giveaways than they committed and edging out a club desperate for traction. It wasn't headline heroics that sealed the win. It was quiet poise, a drip of smart decisions that turned chaos into calm. Commentators now call the Fever backcourt the hottest ticket since the Olympic break. Veterans once warned progress would need time to steep, more slow-brewed Cuban coffee than instant powder. After long road trips and longer film sessions, that flavor finally hits, bold, smooth, and packing late kick. Every matchup reveals something new. Sometimes it is Clark's no-look laser threading a double team. Other nights, her willingness to draw defenders, hover in midair, then zip the ball to a corner shooter. Defenses stretch thin, unsure whether to chase her off the arc, clog the lane, or pray for the whistle. Each wrong guess births another highlight. Attendance surges. Merchandise orders crash the team store. Social channels explode in real time. Even casual sports fans, once strangers to WNBA storylines, now dissect pick-and-roll angles over morning coffee, proof that Clark's ripple effect reaches far beyond Gainbridge Fieldhouse and Indiana state lines. For the first time in years, Indiana is not simply relevant, but essential viewing. Appointment basketball on weeknights. Mirrors in locker rooms reflect confident smiles instead of shrugged shoulders, and veterans whisper that the rookie might already be their rudder and their spark. Amid the applause, the season's clock keeps ticking. 9 games, maybe more if the playoff road runs long, separate Clark from deeper legend. 4 threes a night is a steep climb, yet not an unclimbable peak for someone who treats distant rims like friendly targets. Records for assists, triples, and triple-doubles hover within reach, swaying like ripe fruit. Debate will linger until the final buzzer, but every sold-out arena and each trending clip casts a louder vote. Clark has not only bent her own rookie arc, she has shifted the league's spotlight, drawing new eyes and fresh voices to women's hoops. But as cheers thunder and records tremble, one question hangs in the air. Are we witnessing the dawn of a dynasty, or merely the warm-up act? Keep your eyes locked as we glide into the accolades. Dominance with a smile. How Caitlin Clark took over the WNBA. From the moment Caitlin Clark stepped onto the court in her rookie WNBA season, it was like watching a perfectly scripted sports drama unfold. She didn't just play basketball, she commanded it. The cheers came loud, the records toppled fast, and the headlines barely kept pace. Every move she made felt like it had been rehearsed in the dreams of every young fan who ever imagined dominating the pros. Clark wasn't just named WNBA Rookie of the Year, she owned the title. No surprises there. But what stunned even seasoned analysts was how effortlessly she made history while also rewriting the expectations of what a newcomer could be. In the same season, she sparked fierce all-star voting wars, with Angel Reese taking the top vote count, a nod to how deeply fans connected with this new era of women's basketball. Still, it was Clark's game that left broadcasters like Ryan Ruocco declaring her possessed, and you couldn't help but agree. She was in a zone, unshakable, precise, and unstoppable. The Indiana Fever star had a way of turning even her rivals into reluctant fans. One viral moment said it all. Kim Mulkey, LSU's no-nonsense coach, embracing Clark after a game in a hug so intense it felt half congratulatory, half admission of defeat. It wasn't just respect, it was awe. That kind of gesture doesn't happen often, but Clark earned it. She played with total control, reading defenses like a seasoned pro, maneuvering around defenders with ease, hitting her spots, and delivering every time. Her style of play drew comparisons to Larry Bird, calm, calculating, and completely committed. You could see it in her footwork, her court vision, the way she drew defenders, then punished them for giving her even a breath of space. LSU made the fatal mistake of letting her get comfortable early in one game, going under screens instead of over, and paid dearly. Caitlin didn't hesitate. She punished every slip in judgment. Her left side drive into pull-up jumpers, a thing of beauty and deadly precision. This wasn't just hype. Her stats over a 12-game stretch were jaw-dropping, 23.4 points per game on 47% shooting, making her the second highest scorer in the league, just behind A'ja Wilson, an MVP machine and the reigning face of WNBA dominance. But even next to a powerhouse like Wilson, Clark didn't fade. Instead, she burned brighter. Her rookie campaign didn't just exceed expectations, it obliterated them. She brought the Indiana Fever back to relevance, helped them secure 4 consecutive wins, and pushed them above 500 for the first time in years. When she played, it wasn't just a game, it was an event. And the numbers off the court were just as staggering. Indiana led the entire league in attendance, both home and away. Fans packed arenas, sometimes just to witness Clark's magic. The Fever averaged over 17,000 fans per home game and drew over 15,000 on the road. The league's overall attendance skyrocketed by nearly 50% and WNBA merchandise sales up a ridiculous 450%, according to Fanatics. That's not just popularity, that's transformation. She didn't just play basketball, she elevated it. She set a new standard, one that future rookies may fear as much as they admire. 4th in MVP voting, Rookie of the Year, All WNBA First Team. Those titles only scratch the surface, because what Caitlin really changed was belief. She redefined what was possible for a rookie, breaking through the ceiling and taking the entire league with her. But greatness never comes without challenges. As her star rose, so did the weight on her shoulders. The same spotlight that highlighted her brilliance also magnified every scuffle and misstep. And nowhere was that more evident than her now infamous clash with Kennedy Carter. The shove that drew headlines across every sports network wasn't just physical, it was emotional, the result of tension brewing on and off the court. Clark called it what it was, not a basketball play, and she was right. It was frustration exploding on national television, a sign of how much pressure followed her every step. Carter, a talented but notoriously aggressive player, had already been racking up flagrant fouls and pushing boundaries. Their moment of contact felt symbolic. Clark's game was lighting up arenas, while others struggled to keep their cool. It was a moment that perfectly captured the highs and lows of her rookie season, a dazzling display of excellence surrounded by whispers of resentment, rivalry, and reckoning. Because while her performance brought fans to their feet, it also stirred something deeper: debate, critique, and sometimes even hostility. How could someone this new dominate so completely? Was it skill, hype, or something else? Now, let's dive into how she's inspired a whole new generation of young women, changing not just the way they play the game, but how they see themselves in it. What kind of legacy is she really building for the future of women's sports? Caitlin Clark, elevating the standard for women in sports. Caitlin Clark isn't just a basketball star. She's a spark that's lighting up a whole new era for women's basketball. From a small-town gym in West Des Moines to packed arenas across the country, Clark has become the face of something bigger than herself. Her fearless style of play, launching long-range shots with ease and confidence, reminds fans of Stephen Curry's impact on the NBA. Except this time, it's women's basketball getting the spotlight it's long deserved. Young athletes see more than a high scorer in Caitlin. They see hope. They see proof that girls can dream big and dominate. Arizona high school star Shea Ijiwoye put it best. Clark makes the game fun, and she proves that girls can play just as hard, just as well, and just as bold as the guys. Her deep three-pointers might get the crowd roaring, but Clark's real magic lies in her overall game: pinpoint passes, smart defense, and leadership when it matters most. She recently became the highest scorer in Division One history, but her true influence is seen in how young players now talk about the game. They talk about logo threes. They talk about vision. They talk about confidence. Coaches like Sue Phillips and Tony Darden now use Clark as a teaching point, reminding girls it's not just about shooting, but building every part of your game. Off the court, Clark is just as powerful. With endorsement deals from Nike and Gatorade, she's showing young girls that hard work and authenticity lead to big opportunities. Caitlin Clark is no ordinary player. She's proof that women's basketball isn't just catching up. It's creating its own lane, and this is only the beginning. As the game gets quicker, tougher, and more intense, there's one thing we can't forget. Caitlin Clark didn't just change women's basketball, she redefined what's possible. What do you think about these latest revelations? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.